other thing that we did, we put loads of lights everywhere. We put lights in the garden, lights in the parks, lights in the streets. And what happens when you turn the lights on at night? What do you see flying around the lights? Moths, exactly. You get insects, bugs, all sorts of things whizzing around those lampposts. These will sit on a lamppost, they'll sit next door on a branch, and they just swoop down and snatch those insects out of the air. So by putting thousands and thousands of lights across New Zealand, we actually put up thousands and thousands of takeaways for rooms, like KFC for owls, everywhere. So they did really, really well out of it. And thankfully, these are doing pretty well, they are not endangered. Now to help them catch those insects on the night, they've got these wonderful big eyes, they are beautiful eyes, aren't they? Now each eyeball takes about a third of the room inside the skull, which means that they can't move their eyes around in the socket. So we can all do that, move our eyes around. They can't do that. So they've got a fixed stare, they haven't got room for the muscles to move them. So what they're going to do is turn their head a lot further. So if Knox was to look at you there, in front of you, now if I was looking at you, I could turn my head, I'm not very flexible, but I can just about look at you with a check shirt on. Knox could turn her head, she could look past you, she could look past you, and she could turn her head all the way around and probably look at you in the W shirt there. That is how good her head is at turning around. And of course she can do that both ways, so she's got complete all-round vision. She can even turn her head upside down and look up to the sky like that. Now the other thing she's got is incredible hearing. Her hearing is absolutely brilliant, and she can actually pinpoint sounds with her eyes shut. Without even being able to see things, she can pinpoint a sound. Now to show you how this works, I need a volunteer. I've got a volunteer. Come on, here come. Here we go. Put your sandwich down. Right, okay. What's your name? Abigail. Right, what are you going to do? I'm going to click my fingers. I want you to point when I click, okay? Really easy. That's pretty good, isn't it? There we go, easy. Right, now put your eyes shut. Close your eyes. Not too bad at all. Let's try again. Pretty good. Not bad at all. Well done, open your eyes. Now you did really, really well there actually. You wasn't too far off. Just a little bit off on one or two of those, but you're pretty close. You did really, really well. Now most people can work out which side it's on, but they can't work out the direction. Abigail did, it's fantastic. She was sort of saying, it's up that way, she's down there, you'll do really well. Now the reason you can do it is when I put my fingers here, the sound, it's this here, before it's this here. So you can work out which side it's on. But Knox here, her ears are a little bit lopsided. She's got one up here and one down here. So she's able to work out exactly where that sound is coming from, a lot easier than you can. But give her a round of applause there, she's really well done. Now the other thing is slightly bigger as well. So just to give you an idea of how brilliant her hearing is, if Knox was to sit up the top of that tree there, one of those branches at the top there, up behind you, if it was a really dark night and she can't see anything, if a mouse was to walk out on this little carpet here, she could hear that mouse, she could fly down out of that tree, listen all the time, listen to where the mouse is going, and she could hit that mouse. Pretty impressive, eh? However, even more impressive, when I tell you that when that mouse is walking out, she's not actually listening to the mouse squeaking, she's not listening for its footprints on the carpet, she's listening to the mouse's heartbeat inside its chest from the top of that tree. Isn't that incredible? Right, well, talking of incredible, I'm going to put her away because Jason has got another incredible animal to give to me. So I'm going to put her out of the way and Jason has got something fantastic.
Alrighty, okay, so we've got oil, and then she can lay her eggs into the dirt, alright? So that's how we can tell the difference between a boy and a girl. The girl's the only one that has that really big spike there. So if you have a really large female Weta punga and she's gravid, that means she's got eggs inside of her, she can actually weigh 130 grams. That makes her the heaviest insect in the world. Now, just for kind of comparison, that morphawk that Jez just had, Knox there, she weighs 155 grams. So a big Weta isn't that far off the size of a morphle, which makes it really quite special. Now, as I talked about earlier with the tuatara, unfortunately, a lot of pest species have come to New Zealand since European settlement. And because of that, a lot of species have actually, oh, she's biting me. A lot of species have actually had a really tough time. Now, Weta were almost wiped off mainland New Zealand because of pest species. But what's strange is that another pest species actually saved the Weta, but it was a plant, okay? So is anyone familiar with gorse? Gorse is a big hedge, it's really prickly and it's awful to work with, okay? Weta love gorse because they can climb inside of it and the spikes and the prickles won't hurt them because they've got a hard exoskeleton. But the rats and the mice that chase after them are going to get prickled up and it's very unpleasant. The New Zealand government does hope that by 2050 we will be pest free, so no more rats, stoats or mice here in New Zealand, and hopefully that'll mean that we'll be able to release them back on the mainland New Zealand. And what that essentially means for you guys is that you have to check your gum boots before you put them on in the morning, right? You don't want to put your foot down on one of these. That would be very pleasant. My absolute favourite thing about Weta is actually their name. I love their name. So Weta doesn't really mean anything. You know, they are a Weta, but Punga does. Okay. Weta are actually named after a god. So Punga is a Māori god. Does anyone know what Punga was the god of? Is anyone familiar with the Māori mythology? No. You often get the forests or insects or the wild. No. Punga was the Māori god of ugliness and ugly creatures. So unfortunately, they weren't really seen as a very beautiful animal. I think they're really, really incredible. I think they're very, very amazing. Now, I would like to say a really big thank you guys for coming out today. I know you've been sitting for a while, but hopefully you've enjoyed, hopefully you've learned something new. Thank you very much for coming out today. Just to let you know, at 1:45, there will be a Kiwi encounter. Jez will be doing that one. So you've got time to head around there. I'm going to hang out here for just a few minutes. So if you want to have a closer look at the Weta and get a picture, you are more than welcome to. But again, thank you for coming to the zoo. $1 from your admission ticket does go towards our conservation fund, and some of that money will go towards